How's it going, YouTube? Coming in today with another video, and today, guys, what the video is going to be the meta end boards that everyone has been waiting for. But today, it's going to be a little bit more special as I'm involving different members of the community that have recently topped YCSs and regionals, which I think is really cool because now you can see it from other people's perspectives that have done very well with very specific decks, and we can see the end boards that they are producing every time. And I asked everyone to show the most uninterrupted, but also the most average end board, right? So not a lot of like outside cards that are just like if you see them, right? And it's mostly just the cards that you get to just from comboing. Now, some of these decks are more fishbowl-y, and you will start seeing cards that are just kind of drawn, right? Because of the fact that that's how the deck is. But others are a little bit more linear. There are two decks that I did add into this because I want to make sure that they made it to the video. The other ones are from specifically others that have topped, and you'll see their socials as well. So if you have other questions about the different strategies, then you can go ahead and message them about how they did with the deck and other questions that you could do with like maybe changing the deck in the future, right? But definitely go ahead and check out my sponsors over on Gem, Cloud, Arla, Imperium, Dragonshield, RW, MainPhaze, and Grimoire. If you want to get some one-on-one coaching, definitely go ahead and check out my METAFY page. And then if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, definitely go ahead and do so we can hit our goal at 30,000. Now, without further ado, let's hop right into our first slide. This one comes from McKTV. Thank you so much, and congratulations on your top. This is going to be the most standard average end board for VSK9. You're always going to have some kind of Holisu in rotation with the field spell, the trap, and the force release, of course, with the Ripper. And then typically you're going to be ending on the Borger just so you can keep drawing cards. And a good mix of cards in the hand right now off a standard fishbowl end board is going to be some kind of hand trap and like Bell or Ash, right? You might have like a Bestial or some other dark attributed hand trap like D Crow, or even if you late drew like a Shifter. And then you could also have like an Azuna through comboing from the K9 cards, which is pretty likely. And you're probably going to have some sort of two fires still in hand, right? So this is pretty average for the VSK9 end board, and this is what you're looking at if you go to play against this deck. Also remember, the field spell is going to protect them once from destruction, so it's another thing that you want to keep in mind. On the right, I told everyone to do specific shoutouts that they want to give, and then also do a brief description of what's going on with the end board as well. So definitely go ahead and read that. But huge shoutouts to McKay on YouTube, and then shout out to Carlos the Goat on Twitch. The next one here coming from Playmaker, they want to give a huge shout out to Game Time Cards and Collectibles, their OTS, which is always fantastic to be able to support your local OTSs. And then they have a description here, including the 4 sets, which is Called by, Impulse, Malice in the Mirror, MTP. Obviously, Called by and Impulse are going to be a little bit more of if you draw them, but in this deck, there is a lot of RNG, and then you also have Heat Soul, and then there are some linear lines, but there's also some lines that really depend on what you drew. You're also playing a lot of Bestials in the deck, so you are probably going to end with the Bestial after all the drawing. You are ending usually with the Akko Talker, which is an Omni Negate. Then you have the Firewall Bounce, you have the additional draw of the Heat Soul, and then you have the Shield and Sword from the Ransom with the MTP07 and the Malice and Mirror, which is pretty common for you in this strategy. So this is something that you definitely want to keep in mind whenever you're going against this deck, because the end board is still pretty formidable, and if they do have a Cryptor anywhere, usually they save that for just like going for game, but that is a card you also might have to worry about. The next one comes from Juju. Thank you so much for this, friend, and congratulations on your top 8, as well as Playmaker, congrats on your top 8. All of you have done an excellent job, and I'm proud of all of you for what you've accomplished. And, you know, Juju has been chasing this for a minute now, and I'm very proud that you were able to get it. So this is Lunaite, and this is a pretty standard end board for Lunaite. It's going to be pretty much using your entire hand to be able to throw this out. You kind of cross sheep with the IP into SP, and then you also have the Baguska and double Liger with the Silverhound Engrave, which is a spell trap negate. So this is a pretty crazy end board to crack. Yes, people are on Lava Golem in the sideboard, and other people are looking at other ways to be able to out things like Liger, but this is a deck that you're going to want to make sure that you are ready for because it's in the meta, and you will see it. Now, definitely one of the scariest decks in the format currently is Azamina Yummy. This deck is pretty crazy. Huge shout outs to Biggest Bird, and again, congratulations on your top. Shout out to Team Lunax in the playground. you have done absolutely fantastic with this deck, and it is very new for everyone, so let's go over what's going on here. Diabellstar and a discard is going to be a pretty large board here. Sylvia, all Yummy interruptions including Surprise, SP, Diabell, and Azalin on the opponent's turn, with a guaranteed Send of Deception that will reset itself off its own effect as well. So pretty crazy. You're ending here with a lot, and this is going with the souls and not the gaze. But of course, if you draw gaze, then you're going to be in a crazier scenario, because then you also have Dragoon, right? So this board is pretty formidable, and it's really hard to crack because it's a lot of interruption to deal with. So definitely a very fun one here, and this is a deck that I'm looking forward to playing moving forward until we get some ban list that says we can't, because this deck, the ceiling of this deck is absolutely incredible. Now, typically you're going to end with either the Phonix or the Varun, and then you're also going to have the link to Varun, and then a Totem Bird. You can get another set here. Usually it's going to be like a Fallen and Virtuous if you just like hard opened it, right? Or you drew it with like Vision. You could have Vision set or one of the other Radiant spells, but you're usually ending with Mandate, double MST, and then you'll have like a hand trap. You'll have a couple cards in hand, and it could be a Sheena as well. So this is the most optimal. This is something that you could be dealing with. So keep everything you see here in mind, as this could be an issue. You can also note that things like Phonix in the graveyard can bring itself back anyway, so you're more than likely going to be dealing with Varun and Phonix regardless. This deck is still very strong, and you have to navigate it well, but definitely keep this in mind moving forward, and the deck is still very strong. Now for Fiendsmith Yummy, this is a deck that has also been very popular. You're going to end with like a couple hand traps typically, or like a couple cards in hand. You're going to have the field spell up, but you're also going to have Caesar, SP, Surprise, and then the Yummy Synchro, which is always going to be a lot of power for you on the board because you can bring back and keep looping your Yummy names. You'll also have the Lacrima if you're on the Paradise to go ahead and bring back the Requiem to summon the Lacrima and then dump the Paradise to grave, so you have an additional interruption as well. So very layered end board. Anything with Caesar is usually pretty okay, right? So definitely very cool to see, but this is a deck that you will be seeing quite often as it's pretty popular right now. If you enjoyed today's video, definitely go ahead and check out my Twitter, Twitch, Discord, Instagram. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Thank you.